Hi guys, welcome back to If the Gap Exists with Daphne and
And Vicella, hi. It's been a very long 5 weeks,
yeah.
but we made it through. We're back, and I'm glad to have Formula One back. Are you?
hmm I mean, 5 weeks felt a bit long. It was long to be fair, but I survived, I guess. For a second, I forgot what it was like to watch Formula One because I forgot even this weekend was like, the race weekend. So when you reminded me, I was like, oh my days, we are back. I totally actually forgot for a second. I
Yeah.
forgot about it. But yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah, it's been an odd 5 weeks because
hmm hmm
I think at the beginning we were hearing like rumors, stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Verstappen's race engineer leaving, for
hmm
example.
hmm
And then as time went on, we just kind of forgot about Formula One almost.
To be fair.
I wasn't hearing any news, I wasn't hearing any updates, and just cracked on with life. And then, yeah, suddenly I start getting notifications. It's race week again. I'm like, oh, yeah, can't wait. So,
I think even the drivers forgot like Formula One was there because they were all doing their own thing. Like 5 weeks was a long time, and this wasn't even the usual break. And now there's going to be another lengthy break again. Then the summer break. Oof, too many breaks in between, to be fair. But it is the
yeah.
sport. So since we're back, can we just go straight into the race today? How did you find the race today?
Um, well, it was good in bits, and other bits,
Mm,
it was just a bit boring. As per usual, the starts are normally good fun. We
chaotic.
had the usual Ferraris are quick off the line. To be fair, the Mercedes weren't as bad off the line as they have been previously, but still,
No.
there's a lot of work to be done there.
hmm
And then you had the Verstappen spin. I don't know where that came from. I don't know if it just seemed to be a mistake because he apologized on the radio not long after.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that bit was entertaining. Then the middle of the race was a bit dry. There was obviously a lot of talk about whether the rain's going to come or not. And everyone was just like managing tires, other than
hmm
Verstappen, of course, who was just sending it every chance he got. A lot of very aggressive overtakes. So back to vintage Max almost. And then you get to the end of it, and it all seemed boring. We were texting, complaining about
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
dull the race is. Then I just sent you a text, Leclerc.
Leclerc, that was so out of nowhere, to be
I don't know
fair.
what happened there. I think he just got a bit too trigger happy trying to chase down Piastri for that
hmm hmm
last podium spot.
hmm
Before you know it, he's hit the wall, damage, and then in the end loses 2 places just before the checkered flag. So
hmm
yeah, it was a odd race, but better than nothing, I guess. I mean, how did you find it?
I mean, as you said, the start was very interesting. There was a lot going on. From the weekend, you could tell from the break, a lot of the teams have done quite a good job with their cars. They brought in some upgrades that are bringing them closer to, the lead, which is Mercedes. And the start was quite interesting. Leclerc did a good job, obviously. But can we talk about this max spin? Because it came out of nowhere. It made him lose a
Yeah,
lot of places. I was just in shock because I'm like, what?
it was
Over the
very
weekend?
uncharacteristic of him, wasn't it, to
Yeah.
make a mistake like that.
Over the weekend, he was doing quite a good job. And then suddenly this came, boom. I'm like, oh, I don't know if Max is still not getting used to, like, the new cars. And then we obviously have Russell and Antonelli. Honestly, it just seems Antonelli is the number one driver now because honestly, he seems to be doing a very good job. Like, I don't know, I think he has a lot of potential and hats off to him for the hat trick, 3 wins
Yeah,
in a row.
yes, three
And
poles in a row as well.
yeah, I think he's done a very good job. At the beginning, a lot of people were expecting Russell to be the lead Mercedes in terms of the championship. And
Me included,
clearly,
yeah.
clearly Antonelli is showing us, what he has got. Like he's very good. And then what else? What else? I feel like the race was interesting at the beginning. then it became boring. But then there was so much going on. In as much as it was boring, there were a lot of like investigations going on, a lot of things happening. Some I think it was Perez getting the penalty, the drive-through penalty,
Yeah,
Alonso
was
being
that speeding in
notified.
the
Yeah,
pit lane?
there was a lot going on. Then there's the crash where Hadjar had the crash at the same time. On the other side, Gasly and
Liam
Lawson
Lawson, yeah, we
also
had
had
that.
that
There's
crash, and
don't forget Franco Colapinto in
Lewis.
going into Hamilton, yeah.
There was so much still going on, in as much as it was boring. And I feel like with Gasly, when I saw the position, I'm like, what? Like that was very, very, very scary a bit because he was literally hanging. And when I watched the
Yeah, because you
replay,
don't know how it just pans to him, and you're like, how on earth has he ended up like this? Like
yeah, I think Lawson was going a bit defensive and he might
he
have
locked up,
probably
yeah, yeah,
locked
he
up
locked
and
up his
then,
tires, went into the side of him,
yeah,
and like flicked him over.
but at least like he was safe. Everyone was okay. And I mean, other than the previous race, we went back to having not 22 cars finishing the race.
Still waiting, yeah. I don't think we've even had 20 cars finish a race yet. Hopefully, by
Uh,
the end of the season, that happens.
yeah, at least
Uh,
22 started, but
yeah,
at
with
least the
baby
22 did.
steps, yeah.
Yeah, because the last time to 22 did start, and at least 22 started, and we still don't have 22 finishing the race. Oof,
Yeah,
that's a lot,
baby
to be
steps. At
fair.
least this is the most that I've ever started, I believe. So
That's very true.
we're getting there. As
Yeah,
per usual, Aston Martin's nowhere to be seen. Their Adrian Newey special has just crashed and burned. Even the
yeah,
Cadillacs actually looked competitive at times.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
competitive to the point where they'll be getting points, but then in amongst the other back
Mm-hmm,
markers, so to
mm-hmm.
speak, they seem to have made decent progress. I mean, as you mentioned earlier, a lot of cars came with serious upgrade
Yeah,
packages, so
yeah.
makes sense. I mean, that is except for Mercedes. Mercedes, I think, brought just one upgrade,
Mm-hmm.
and even still, they were just clearly the best car. At least Antonelli was in the best car. So when they come to Montreal, which is the next race with their upgrades, it might be scary for everyone else, to be honest. I think they might start putting a
Yeah.
serious gap on everyone.
But I do feel like a lot of the other teams have also, at least those not in the midfield, they've gotten a hang of it. And in as much as Mercedes is still going to be dominating, I think the gap is going to be very small and there's going to be a lot of competition. I mean, you could even see from Norris and Piastri with Leclerc and then Russell and even Verstappen in the mix. You could tell that they were battling and a lot of other factors, strategy and whatnot, played a role in how things didn't go, lock up and whatnot. But I think that there's going to be little gap and a lot of battling moving forward. And honestly, I feel like today's race, in as much as it was a bit boring, was also insightful. Norris
Yeah.
actually believed that he should have won, and I found that to be very interesting because opportunity paved the way for him to get into the front and to have thought that he would pass Antonelli. I didn't think he would. I wasn't even worried about that. But from his radio win, I think he said that what was the name? They should have won. And I was like, why does he think that?
You know what? I don't mind that because at least he feels like the car's competitive. Because if he
Mm,
finished second and then was like, "Oh, that was great, guys, well done," then you start getting worried and be like, "Well, how far off are they really?" But for him to be a bit upset that they didn't get more
when
out of this
yeah.
race, it makes you think that hold on, we actually might have a proper battle
Mm,
like in the future. So I'm happy that was his reaction. I would also say that obviously over the break they've made whatever changes to the electrical battery
yeah.
recovery system, all of that. I don't think anyone understands it still, but I would say it did make for a lot more organic looking racing. You weren't having the crazy closing speeds that we've had in other races.
Races, yeah.
Obviously, there's still a lot of interchanging going on when like someone
Hmm.
will get overtaken straight back. But it did seem a lot more organic than it has in the past. So
Mm,
at least it looks like we're started to head in the right direction. I don't know if they're going to make any more changes to that going forward. I hope they do so that it all does kind of converge and become properly organic overtakes. But at least it's a step in the right direction, I'd say.
yeah, yeah. But can we also talk about, Leclerc's spin at the end? That came out of nowhere. That was
Yeah.
unexpected. That I felt like at the beginning of the race, I thought Leclerc was going to win. And obviously, as things were going, even when they made him pit and he wasn't happy with it, I was like, okay, at least he's going to get third place, which he had in the, like,
It
had
seemed he had it in the
until,
bag, yeah.
yeah, until getting to the end. And then I feel like when, with the pressure coming from Piastri, he felt like he had to push more because he was always defensive. When someone passes him, he goes defensive and passes back. With Piastri, he did the same thing. Piastri took the place back and he tried and it wasn't working. And I
Yeah.
don't know what happened because he didn't hit anything. He just spun and
Yeah, he
that's when
just
he
seemed
hit
a
the
bit
wall.
too trigger happy, in my opinion, because
What?
I think you could recognize that Piastri is through. So
Mm-hmm.
just stay close to him. It's the last lap. Stay close to him and then dive on the inside or something later on in the lap. It's very early on in the lap. There are
Yeah.
two very big opportunities coming up to get the overtake done. So I don't know if it's a bit of inexperience, but it's hard to say inexperience when it feels like Leclerc's been around for like at least 8 years or something. He's been around for ages. So
I mean, he's not inexperienced, but he's still new when it comes to having a competitive car or being in the front run. Because even when the first year that he was in the front run was when I think 2022 between
yeah,
he and Verstappen, and it was going well, but it was a time where like
the Red Bull was
if the
just their car was just too
yeah,
good
but when it
eventually.
comes to strategy, if he always goes with what they decide, and when it doesn't go well, unlike Science, who used to also come up with his own strategy, like when it doesn't go well, then he gets frustrated, confused. So he's not really been in the front run for him to say, okay, yeah, he has experienced this. So I feel like he doesn't really work well under pressure. That's how
Mm,
I see it, or that's my opinion. Because anytime there's a bit of pressure or there's a bit of a problem, then there's always a bottleneck, but he can't always have it smooth sailing as well. That's where the problem is. And I found that so sad because it was literally just at the last corner, and then this
yeah, and then they
happens, and
both
he
get
loses
him.
2 places.
And to make matters worse, just before we started recording, we got the breaking news:
Yeah.
a 20-second penalty for Uh, the way they've worded it is very confusing because it seems that they've worded it as the penalty is for cutting all of these corners
Hmm.
and getting an advantage. And also, they said that his car wasn't damaged enough for him to be doing all of this. But then
What?
later on, they say that his car is very damaged and it was dangerous for him to be driving. So the FIA need to pick one lane and stick to it, but either way, he's got his 20-second penalty, which it's a lot. I was quite surprised. I've never seen a 20-second
It's
penalty
a
being
bit
given.
brutal, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why they've done it, but yeah, that's dropped him. Obviously, Russell and Verstappen got him at the end. That's dropped him behind Hamilton and dropped him behind Colapinto. So
Colapinto as well, yeah.
he's gone from almost finishing on the podium to about eighth place now, all in them less than a lap. So
That's
yeah,
crazy. But do you know
he the
what?
weekend to forget.
I feel like, okay, we've got this about Leclerc. When do we get news about Max's investigation? Because they say after the race, it's been hours since the race ended. We've not heard
Yeah.
anything.
It's a very weird one as well because his one was to do with crossing the line on pit exit, which is normally it's you either did it or you didn't. It's very black and
Exactly.
white. It's like
Exactly.
speeding in the pit lane. It only gets triggered automatically because some computer somewhere has calculated that
Hmm.
you have done this. So
Yeah.
for them to say they're going to investigate it after makes little to no
I
sense
mean,
to me.
that is very questionable. But even if you are going to, it's been hours after the race. Why are we not hearing a single thing? Like, it
The
should be
FIA
straightforward.
the FIA sorry can be very weird at times. So maybe tomorrow Verstappen will get a 10-second penalty. Who knows?
Oh,
Like,
one can hope.
we'll go into Canada and they're still dashing out penalties to people the rate that they're going.
I would even be surprised at this point,
Yeah,
to be
because
fair.
even Liam Lawson, when him and Gasly came together, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that he was given a penalty for that.
They said they were going to investigate after the race.
Again, yeah, why? What, what is there to investigate?
To be
He
fair.
locked up, lost control of his car, and he put Gasly on his head.
And don't forget,
Simple as that.
he literally was being defensive because Gasly had passed. There wasn't even
Exactly.
enough space for him to be defensive. And
Yeah,
honestly, today there was a lot happening in as much as it was boring, but we're back. So I guess that's a way to, get back into Formula One, bring us back into it. But I will
yeah.
say that I wanted to ask you this. I know it's early, it's only 5 races. I think 5 races.
I
But
think yeah.
looking at how it's going, who do you think is gonna be the champion? Just
Well,
looking at it,
I
we have
don't
a
know
long
if
way to go,
yeah,
but
there's a very long way to go, but I think the battle is probably going to be between Antonelli and Norris at this point
oh,
because Russell just
really?
seems to be struggling. Yeah, Russell Russell made sense at the beginning, but since then it's just been Antonelli dominance every single time. Russell just doesn't seem able to match his pace, whether it's in qualifying, in a Grand Prix, whether it's a sprint.
Mm,
Antonelli just seems to be always consistently better than Russell. Maybe it's just the tracks suit Antonelli more, and later on into the season, Russell can climb back. But the way things stand, at least the McLarens don't look that far off the Mercedes. So if that does happen to be the case, I can see Norris pushing Antonelli all the way. But if I'm going to stick with one, I would say Antonelli.
mm,
What about you?
okay.
You
I
seem
mean,
shocked by my answer.
well, I'm not shocked about, yeah, but if you had asked me maybe a couple of weeks ago, I probably would have said Antonelli and Piastri. I feel like Piastri has a lot of potential, but looking at today's race, in as much as McLaren wouldn't want to accept it, Norris is always going to be their number one, especially since he's also won a champion. But
Yeah.
like, for me, I would say Antonelli and Russell, as shocking as that might seem.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I would say Antonelli and Russell, but Antonelli is going to win the championship. That is my opinion. I think he has it in him to actually win, but this can take a turn. I mean, look at last year, for example. Piastri, by this time last year, Piastri was leading the championship. And
Yes.
how did
Anything can
that go?
happen. Yeah.
Anything can happen. He ended up being third. I think we can go back to this, table this again for maybe the when they go for the summer break.
Yeah.
But yeah, for now, I feel like Antonelli is gonna win the championship, and I really hope he wins it because he has a lot of potential to do that.
The funny thing is, though, obviously, ever since Lewis left Mercedes, there's been lots of rumors about Toto Wolff wanting to bring in Verstappen.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it was always a case of is either Russell goes or Antonelli, and everyone kind of thinks that it will be Russell that will
Hmm.
be
Hmm.
shifted because Antonelli is one for the future.
I
The
think so
longer
too, though.
the longer that this Antonelli dominance goes on, the louder these rumors are going to be. Obviously, I haven't heard anything about this recently,
Mm-hmm,
but it was
mm-hmm.
just something that occurred to me that Antonelli's got a hat trick of poles, a hat trick of wins.
Yeah.
Russell isn't even getting onto the podium the last couple races. The
Mm-hmm.
longer that this goes on, I see Antonelli solidifying number one
Yeah.
and potentially the rumors circulating Verstappen and Mercedes will start to creep up again.
That would be very interesting though, like Max moving to Mercedes when Antonelli is going to be their number one driver. It's going to be like Leclerc and Lewis. Lewis has more
Yeah.
championship, but obviously they can't put him at number two. They can't also say he's number one. It's going to be an interesting dynamic. I don't know if Max will go for it, but if he does, I want to see how that will play out, to be fair.
But Max will back himself against any driver, and he'll also have the confidence knowing that Toto wanted him there so badly. There's no way he's going to go to Mercedes and then Toto will be like, okay, now you're number two, sit back and let Antonelli do everything.
But I feel like if Antonelli is to win the championship, there is no way they're going to bring Max in and declare Max number one. That's what I'm saying. A clear example is with Leclerc and Lewis. Like
Yeah.
Leclerc has been in the team longer, and then they just brought in Lewis. They really wanted Lewis, but clearly Lewis is not their number one, and neither is he their number two. They can't just say who is who. I feel like that's just going to be the dynamic there because it's going to be someone with more championship and experience versus the new blood who's hunting for more. But all these are just hypothetical, like, things we are thinking about because it might not even happen.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor somewhere that Max wants to retire, so that's also
That could also
possible. So
happen. Yeah, you
mhm,
never know.
that could also happen. So it'll be interesting. But it'll be if um Russell is let go. I wonder what team will he move it to. That's another thing to think about.
Yeah, I think if he gets let go, he's probably going to a midfield team because
Back to a
Ferrari,
midfield.
yeah, because Ferrari are going to take, if Hamilton goes, it will be Behrman. Red Bull would probably want to bring in Lindblad if Verstappen were to leave.
Hmm, hmm.
McLaren are probably not going to change their drivers anytime
Anytime
soon.
soon. Facts.
So if it were a case that Mercedes move Russ along, yeah, I think he just ends up in the midfield team, whether he's in like Williams or Alpine.
There's no way he's going back to Williams. I'm telling you,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
not.
I forgot he was
He-
even there to begin
He's
with. Yeah,
not. He's not doing that. Definitely not. But let's see how it goes next race. How the rankings is gonna change. How things are gonna change. And yeah.
yeah, we'll see. Until then, I've been Senna.
And I've been Daphne, and this has been If the Gap Exists.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.